The NonStop Radio Show.
Non-stop hip-hop.
The hottest underground hip-hop and R&B show on this side of the net.
My joy should jump out this room. I cut off my wound. Loving your substance abuse. So what's my excuse? And my keyboard still paint visions in our minds. That heartbreak is a lesson I'll find. Still I would break my heart again.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Once again, it's your boy EMillio EgBar. And I would like to say thank you to each and every one of you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to tune into tonight's presentation as EJP Entertainment presents the Artist Spotlight. You already know what it is. We at the point of our show where we are joined by tonight's special guest. But before we do so, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you go follow us on IG at EJP_Entertainment to stay up to date with everything related to EJP. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Once again, it's your boy EMillio EgBar, and I would like to say thank you to each and every one of you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us here tonight on this presentation of the show. And if you haven't done so yet, man, I would greatly appreciate it if you go over to our IG and follow us at EJP_Entertainment. Or for those of y'all that would like to check out the video content of this platform, you can do so by going over to our YouTube channel at EJP Entertainment as well. Be sure to like and share the videos and consider subscribing if you happen to enjoy what you're watching. But with that being said, folks, everybody knows this is the point of our show where we are now joined by our special guest here tonight. And for those of y'all out there that's listening right now, man, if you happen to be in or around or from the PG County area of Maryland, folks, this is where our next guest is coming from. So please help me welcome to the show, Kris Jonathon. Kris, how's everything, man? Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, thank you very much. I'm doing good. I'm happy to be on.
That's what's up, man. I definitely appreciate you, man. So, with that being said, we normally like to start off this section of the conversation with allowing our guests the opportunity to, tell the audience a little bit about themselves, to introduce themselves to the crowd and all that good stuff, man. So with that being said, the floor is all yours.
Yeah, as you said, born and raised in PG County, specifically Bowie. I come from a military family, so we did move around once, but I don't claim Connecticut. Besides that, I've been on the East Coast my whole life. Music has been a part of my life since I was extremely young. My mom was a DJ for WHUR, Howard University Radio, and with that, my mom always listened to music. Like, it was always playing in the house, and I started like listening to my own type of music when I got my first iPod. I was so excited to get the iPod Mini, if you remember that, like back in the early days of Apple.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, shoot, I don't got no songs. And so I was like, Mom, can I use your credit card to buy some songs? I really just wanted to get Soulja Boy Tellin', because that was hot at the time. And she was like, hell no. She said, I got some songs already ready for download from my on my iTunes library, and you can listen to those. And I was like, I do not want to listen to all these old people music. Like nobody's listening to this stuff. And but I had no choice. We were going on a road trip to Hershey Park or something, and I had no choice. I needed something to listen to in the car. I was not about to listen to news radio for 3 hours straight. And so I was like, F it, I'm gonna download these songs. And so I downloaded 20, 30 of them, and I'll tell you, I fell in love with all of them. And I got home, I downloaded more and more and more until I downloaded her whole playlist. And it was funny because after that day, Like, that's all I listen to now. I can listen to it, soul music, old soul. I can listen to it doing anything, studying, working out, like getting ready to go outside, like all that, everything under the list. And it was funny also when my mom found out that I actually liked the music. It was like Thanksgiving, and she was playing her music while she was cooking. And I started singing along, and she was like, "Boy, what?" And so from that point on, we've been like sharing music that I find or that she finds that wasn't on the library, and we still do that to this day.
Oh man, that's what's up, man. Man, you mentioned Soulja Boy. I'm like, damn, now I feel old as hell when you bring him up, because I remember, I'm old enough to remember when, you know, Soulja Boy Tell 'Em was coming out with his song. Everybody out there was doing the Superman, and everybody was running around screaming that "yeah" thing and all that stuff like that. Man, you making me feel old today, man. But it's all good. Nah, it's all good,
I
man.
ain't mean it.
Nah, you good. I'm just joking around. But with that being said, man, you know, that's dope, you know, being that, you know, especially, you know, when it comes to younger generational people, you know, a lot of them don't really take a lot to, you know, a lot of the old classic, you know, records, such as like, you know, the old records like soul music and, you know, all that kind of, you know, good music and stuff like that we used to listen to. Because I remember even at the time when I was young, I used to, you know, my mother, her brothers and all that stuff like that, my uncles, they always used to listen to like, you know, Otis Redding and, you know, Al Green and all that kind of music. And at first I didn't really gravitate to it that much until I started getting older and all that, man. So that's what's up, man. So I see that you liked a lot of Motown growing up as well. So who were some of your favorite Motown artists that you still listen to?
Shoot. I guess I don't know specifically Motown, but Gladys Knight. Oh my goodness, I can listen to Gladys Knight like all day long. Like I wish I could go to Gladys Knight in concert. Like that'd be a dream. I like the Temptations.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was like the OG. Like my first group I listened to. Enchantment. Yeah, the Enchantment's there. That was my top artist last year. They're like unsung. Like nobody knew about them. I found them on Spotify Radio. I got like 6 of their songs. Earth, Wind and Fire. Whew. They have such a vast spectrum of songs out. Like you get like some old like slow soul classics, and then you got obviously like Let's Groove or Boogie Wonderland. Like their dynamics is crazy. And then like moving past Motown, like the R&B from like the 80s, Luther.
Okay.
Yes, sir. That's a huge one, a huge inspiration. And even like I don't think I sing like her, but Tina Marie went crazy too. And yeah, so I think those are my big ones.
That's what's up, man. Like, yo, some of the names that you listening to, and it's funny that you mentioned Luther, because before you called in, I was sitting here and I was listening to your single Rewind, and I'm just listening to it. I'm like, yo, it kind of gives me that, you know, that 1990s, early 1990s, you know, like Luther Vandross, Johnny Gill kind of, you know, feel when I listen to this record and all that good stuff. So you could definitely hear, you know, some of the influences in your music that, you know, when you're, you know, playing your records and stuff like that, you could definitely tell that you was influenced by a lot of the great artists that you just mentioned, man. So salute to you for that one. So with that being said, man,
that's a compliment.
Hey, man, no doubt, man. It's definitely well deserving, man. Especially listening to your music, man. You definitely got that good, you know. You could tell that the fact that you had, you know, your mother, you know, you grew up around her with, you know, her being a radio DJ herself at one point in time. You can definitely hear that your knowledge of music is definitely vast and all that good stuff, man. So I understand you also taught yourself how to play the piano at a very young age, man. How was you able to accomplish that?
Oh yeah, that's a funny story too. So I play video games a lot, and there's this video game called Final Fantasy. It's like an RPG type game. Okay. And the soundtrack is amazing. Now they have like orchestra versions of the songs because they were like that good. And there was this one song I was trying to figure out, and I was like, you know what? We have this piano in the basement, like a keyboard that nobody's touched. It's like dusty. And I said, I'm gonna go down there, and I'm not gonna get up till I learn that song. I still have not learned the song, but I kept playing around and effing around on the piano, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I know it sounded good. And so I messed up, but then I kept messing up, and that sounded good. And I was like, I can make a song. And so I started making songs for piano only. And that was mainly just like, again, playing around. And I was scared of the black keys on the piano.
Okay.
So I only play around with the white keys. And because they all sound good together. And I figured that out. It's like a pattern. It's like a puzzle piece. Mm-hmm. How you like move around on it is like, it creates a different sound. And so I started making songs like that. And it was only piano because I also didn't like my voice. And I kept showing my mom. I was like, hey, Mom, listen to this. I just made this. And she'd be like, that's good, that's good. And then she was like, okay, but why aren't you singing? And I was like, okay. And so at that point, I had to figure out because, well, I can't just sing in the same key. Well, my voice is deeper than most people. Mm-hmm. And so I had to expand. And I think adding vocals really taught me how to play the piano. And yeah, but it's crazy. I still can't like reach music like that.
So you're basically one of the type of piano players, like you just put sounds together, chords together, and whatever sounds good to you, that's what you go with as far as, making your own music.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's how it goes. Or like nowadays, I'll be like listening to a song, and I'll be like, dang, that part is so good, and it'll be stuck in my head. And the same effect kind of happens. I'll go to the piano and I'll try to learn the song and I keep messing up. But when I mess up, sometimes it sounds good. And I'm like, oh, snap. And then I'll turn it into a song. That's exactly what happened to Rewind.
Oh, really?
Wow. I had made the chords way before I made the lyrics. And I was like, wow, I mean, I'm going to find a way to use this sometime. And then obviously I had an experience later that correlated to how I felt with the song. Mm-hmm. And so I was able to transform it. But even my most popular song, That's All, I tried to learn a Frank Sinatra song. And like jazz is so hard to like play in the first place, and then try to hear what people were playing and then try to recreate it. Yeah, it was impossible. But my attempt at learning was like, it turned into that. So yeah, same process, doesn't fail.
Oh man, that's crazy. So are you still like, practically producing all of your records on your own, or do you have a collaborative partner when it comes to making your music that you work with?
No, I'm doing it on my own. I think I wanted to learn by myself. It's kind of like, okay, that saying, you give a man a fish, he'll come back for more, but teach him how to fish and he'll do it his whole life. Yeah, that's one of my favorite quotes. It's that, right, and I think it's the same message on that. Like one day, hopefully, I'll have an expert that can do it, but I want to know how to do it myself. Because at the end of the day, it's my story behind the music. And like as I learn more and more, I'm not going to necessarily be like, shoot, Metro Boomin when it comes to producing. But I'll know how to describe what I want things to sound like if I'm so fortunate in the future to have like an expert on my side. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense. But then let me ask you with this question right here. Like, even, should you, really begin to get to where you feel as though you're an expert now at producing your own music, will you still feel the same way about it when you have somebody else that will be working on your records for you? Or will it be kind of like, the same feeling like you feel right now? Like you wouldn't mind having somebody, help produce your records for you?
Well, I wouldn't mind having somebody help me produce my records, but I want to be there the whole time. Okay. I don't want it to be like a thing where somebody writes my songs for me, because that'll go past my purpose, the point of me making my music. It'll be beyond my experience. It'll be something for fame and clout. It's like, that's not it. My music is a part of me, and I want to share that part of me with the world. And so if I have somebody there to help me, it's more auxiliary versus like managerial, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I can definitely dig that one, man. I asked that question because a lot of you guys that are so completely hands-on with your music, and you're responsible for pretty much 100% of everything that's done production-wise, writing the song, and everything else in between. Sometimes you get those people, it's like they're kind of reluctant to entrust their music or their craft into somebody else's hand. You know what I'm saying? So like that's the reason why I asked that question, because I know a lot of people that I've worked with before or even had conversations with, they're a little apprehensive with letting anybody else have any kind of creative control over anything they do when it comes to their art. So I respect that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like if John Legend or Alicia Keys was like, let me help you with this. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Like, come on, what you think? Right? Like, and so, yeah, there's level to it, but like at the same time, I often run into it now. Like my friends, they're like, oh, do this, do that, do this, do that. And I'm going to be a sponge. And so I'm going to try everything they say. Because you never know. I mean, my ear can only hear so much. And so, like, their feedback is crucial. Like, I never release a song without, like, passing it through my siblings. Like, they're like, hey, Christian, this ain't it. This is not it. I'll be like, hey, let me go back. Or they'll be like, this is good, but this could be better. And, so my siblings are, like, extremely important in that aspect. And I got some close friends, too. They really don't know nothing about music either. They're just like, yo, I hear a lot of songs, and I think this would work here. And so, yeah, in that aspect, I agree. That input is important.
That's what's up. Now, let me ask you, like, when you were first starting off, was it easy for you to accept criticism from, people that was close to you that were supporting you what you was doing musically, or is that something that you grew to accept and understand as you got older and started advancing more with your music?
That's a really good question. Because when I first started, like, recording my music, I didn't care about what other people thought. I was recording because I needed a place to put them so I wouldn't forget these songs. Okay. And what happened was people were like, hey, this is good. Like, you should release this. Like put it out to the world. And so I was like, okay. And then as, like, songs started getting traction, that's when I started to second guess myself and my style and my songs and, like, my production style and all that stuff. So yeah, it's interesting that it kind of, like, went the other way.
Okay, that's good. That's good because, some people, they be like, nah, man, I got this. I know what I'm doing. Like, some people don't take criticism real well. But it's like, to me, like, I welcome criticism because, like, only thing, it comes down to the discernment of it. Because, like, if when you can tell somebody's criticizing you, you can tell the difference if they're actually, like, really doing so genuinely because they want to see you do better, or they doing so because they're actually hating on what you're doing because they can't do it as well as you do. So, like, that's one of the things, that's like that fine line when it comes to criticism that I know a lot of people, like, kind of gets, confused about when they're accepting it from the first time,
Right.
Yeah, man. So, with that being said and everything, you mentioned earlier, a few other, artists, well-known artists by the likes of John Legend, Alicia Keys, and a whole lot of other ones that we named previously earlier on in this discussion. If you ever had the opportunity to work with any, top level or even some of the lesser known artists, who would some of those artists be?
Okay. One, ooh, this is a good question. Okay, Billie Eilish. I gotta do it. Like, I'm sorry, white girl can sing. I'm sorry.
Now, would that be like a duet, or would you be kind of like, wanting to produce for her and she sing over one of your beats?
Oh, it'd be a duet.
Okay,
I ain't touching. Finny, her producer's insane. I can't touch stuff like that.
Gotcha.
John Legend and Alicia Keys, because they also have, like, a similar, like, piano-based style of music. I think that's the biggest thing. I would love. I mean, he hasn't released nothing, and he kind of got canceled, but. Before that, Daniel Caesar was also a huge inspiration for me as well.
Okay.
I'd love to work with him too. I mean, again, it's a similar style of music. It's like crossing the border between R&B and soul. And so, yeah, I'd love to be able to collab with people like that.
That's what's up, man. So, you mentioned earlier also that, all of your songs you write are based off of your own personal experiences. Now, can you find yourself writing, things that don't necessarily relate to your lifestyle, or that's just basically what you want to do? You just basically want to share your story through your music to the listeners?
I think I'm kind of confused by your question. So can you say it again?
Yeah, no problem. I was asking because, earlier you had mentioned that, when you write music, you're basically writing your own experiences. And, you know, a lot of people,
Right.
you know, they do just, you know, a lot of them just like to stick around with, you know, writing their own experiences. They don't really like, say, for example, they don't want to take like a box of cereal and write a song about it. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm asking to you
Right.
was, would you just basically want to just stay in the lane of just sharing your own experiences, or would you find yourself writing for other individuals if it's a topic or something that doesn't necessarily relate to you?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Okay.
I have written for others too. It's
Okay.
kind of funny. I haven't released a song yet, but yeah, I've definitely written for other people. And yeah, but mostly it's my experiences too. I kind of like to say that my music is my journal, and it's things that I've seen, things I want to see, or other people's experiences. And so yeah, I think I want to do it more. And as I start branching out, I'm only gonna have so many experiences that I can write on without getting repetitive. And so I'm interested to see how it goes in terms of like writing on other people's experience.
Okay. So is most of your songs basically based off of, you know, like love situations that you've been involved in, or you go into detail about other aspects of your life as well through your music?
Oh yeah, it's all about the experiences that I've been through. Like heartbreak, I fall in love, I'm like yearning for this person, I messed up, like I gotta fix it, all the above.
Okay. So I guess it's safe to say you're one of those what they call hopeless romantics, or whatever the case.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, man, don't feel bad. I've been there before. I definitely understand. There's been plenty of times before in the past that I've written heartbreak songs and stuff like that. So I definitely get it, man. No doubt about that.
Right.
Yeah, man. So, you know, with the single Rewind that we were just listening to earlier before, you know, we started the conversation, take us through this one. Like what is this song basically about? And like, what was you trying to illustrate through this? Oh shit. He was like, oh snap. Oh man. Y'all might want to go grab your popcorn and get your drinks. This sound like it's going to be a good one.
So I had fallen out real bad, like what was it, 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago. Like,
You going in and out a little
all this
bit.
shit, like, you said what?
You was going out a little bit. I didn't hear the first few parts of what you were saying.
Oh, okay.
All right, there you go.
I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good.
Yeah. So yeah, I was after my last love experience, I was like, you know what, I'm just taking a break from all this. Like, I'm focused on myself. Like, I ain't writing no more love songs. It's just gonna be like, it's just me. Like, it's just me. And so then this girl just popped up out of nowhere, and she was like, cool. She like hit all the green flags. I was like, yep, I'm gonna fall for this one. Like, that's it. And so I did, and we started hanging out a bunch. Like, she was a breath of fresh air. Like, we vibed on the same music. Like, she was willing to listen to like some old soul, and like, she was just a light. And so we talked for like 4 months, and I'm like, okay, I'm like extremely ready for this to get to the next level. Like, we're hanging out every day, and so like, and then I asked her. It was like Valentine's Day. It was like, this is the perfect time for me to ask. Like, hey, it's Valentine's Day. Like, let's do this thing. And she was like, oh, I don't think I'm ready for that. You know, I was like, fine with that. I was like, all right, I guess we'll still be friends. It's not like she's saying, nah, like, never. So I'm like, okay, maybe just need some more time. And after that, like, we barely talked anymore. Like, it was crazy. I essentially got to go.
Oh,
and
man.
like a few weeks later, my friend was like, yo, I'm talking to this new girl, like, she's bad. I'm like, oh, okay. And he was like, tell me about her. And I was like, okay, can you show me a picture of her? And he was like, yeah. And then it was her, bro.
Oh, man,
her.
that sucks. Oh, man. Yo, I'm sorry to hear that.
I just, it's and I turned that song into Rewind. So yeah, that's the story.
Oh man, that's crazy, and not for nothing, man. It's not just to try to say it, to make you feel any better. I've actually had a similar experience like that one time before too. It was this one female that I used to like a whole lot, or whatever the case may be, and I used to make it known to her that I liked her and everything like that. And then come to find out, she ended up dating one of my friends as well. So I can relate to that. experience.
Yeah, I feel you, dog. I feel you.
Man. So like after you wrote that song, man, and you put it out there for people to listen to it, like what was the responses that you was getting back from it?
You said the response I've been getting back from her?
No, from people that listen to this song, being that it was, on a situation as, crazy and messed up as that was, with the story you just told us.
Yeah. So people were like, "Dang, Kristen again!" Like that was the biggest message I got behind that. And people really liked the dynamic between it, like how I switched it up several times throughout the song. And I think that the tone of the song followed like what I felt in the moment. Like I felt down, and then I felt hopeful, and then I felt down again, and then I felt like really hopeful, and then I like went back down to reality. So I think that was I think that was a good way to show how I was feeling.
Hey man, but much respect to you, man, for being able to take a pretty bad situation like that and turn it into some kind of an art form and express yourself in that manner. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people, when they experience such a a traumatic experience such as that, a lot of people can tend to walk away from their passions. They tend to walk away from the things that make them the happiest. But the fact that you was able to take and write on that experience, man, kudos to you for being able to turn it around and make a banger of a song with it. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks, dog.
No doubt, man. So, I understand, your first EP was titled Honeymoon and all that good stuff, man. When you put that out there, it got over like 100,000 streams and all that good stuff. So, like, 2023, like, what are you expecting to put out? Like, what can the fans and the listeners out there now expect from you going forward for the rest of this year?
Oh, yeah, I got a bunch of songs getting ready to come out. I'm about to hit 1 million streams on one of my songs. And so I promised that I'd release an acoustic version. And so I finished that, and then I got like 3 other songs I'm gonna release with that. And then a little bit later into the spring, I'm gonna release the rest of the songs. So it's gonna be a good year.
All right. So are you going to be putting together like any more EPs or maybe a full-length album or anything like that surrounding these songs, or you just plan to just put out singles after single, and then maybe when you get to that point you'll be ready to put out an album or something?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep releasing singles, like 3-song EPs. After that, I'm gonna go release the album and it's time.
Okay, cool. Now, one thing I always like to ask in closing before we get ready to wrap everything up, I always like to ask every artist that come on here, because I know a lot of people don't see longevity in their careers. A lot of people just look and focus on the moments that are going on right now in their life, and it's understandable because that's how a lot of us are trained to think, or that's how a lot of us are taught to think. We think about the now, we live in the now. But when it comes to the longevity aspect of your career, and when it finally comes to an end and you want to say enough is enough, and you decide to walk away, what do you want to be able to look back on and be proud of that you was able to accomplish?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing for me is I want to win a Grammy. I mean, that's my goal. And I have other goals outside of music that I want to attain too, like working for NASA one day. And so if those align, they align. But I think the biggest thing for my music that's tangible is that Grammy.
I can definitely appreciate that one, man. So, before, we get ready to wrap it up, for the people out there that's listening to you right now that would like to, hear more of your music, that would like to reach out to you and even work with you, how can they make that possible?
Yeah, you can reach me on Instagram at Kris Jonathon Official, on Twitter at Official Kris Jonathon, and otherwise than that, you can reach me on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever, at Kris Jonathon.
Cool. Well, Kris, man, we definitely do want to say thank you for taking the time out to call in here, and share your experiences with us, man. We definitely do appreciate your presence, and we appreciate the fact, man, that you was able to come through here, man, and give us a dope interview and a dope discussion and all that good stuff, man, and some good music as well. And before we close things out, do you have any last words you would like to say to the people?
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you for having me on, and thank you for listening to my music. just get ready for more. Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. And for everybody else out there, keep it locked and stay tuned. It's your boy EMillio EgBar, and up next we about to get into this Kris Jonathon record called Rewind. So keep it locked and come back for more. We'll be back with much more right after this.
P. Sherman, 42. I remember it. I do. It's there. I know it is, because when I look at you, I can feel it. And I look at you and I'm home. Please. I don't want them to go away.
My joy should jump out this room. I cut off my wound. Loving your substance abuse. So what's my excuse? And my keyboard still paint visions in our minds. That heartbreak is a lesson I'll find. Still I would break my heart again. Travel the narrow path of a friend. See where our memories start to fade. When we let love run away, I'd rewind time, oh, to you. Rewalk the cracks of your maze, fight through your haze. Relive no contact for days. To meet your gaze, and my keyboard still painted